Time now for your forewarned weather with Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy.
Alana, I always know it's going to be a busy day in the Weather Center when you have your waterproof boots on.
Hey, listen.
You're ready to go.
I dress for the occasion. I don't just walk. I walk it like I talk it, folks. That's how we've got to do it in the Weather Center. And we have that wet weather that has filled in the southern portion of the state. But we're starting with our live view from central Utah, where you can see gloomy conditions from Provo. And that's what we've seen in the north. Now, we talked about this moisture moving in and starting to impact the southwest corner of the state. It's surging north, but it's going to take its time to get here. A southerly flow at times can be shadowed in Salt Lake County, so we have to really overcome the dry layer. We're going to do it. It's going to take some time. This is a view of southwest Hurricane, where we've got wet pavement. It's been soggy in St. George and the surrounding area throughout the day, and the wet weather continues. Even had some thunderstorms popping up in Washington County. Satellite radar shows the last few hours. You see that moisture. You watch on the satellite where we get echoes of moisture in the West Desert, likely Virga at this point, where it's evaporating before it hits the ground. But that will change as we get later into tonight. We've got snow in the southern mountains. And that wet weather is going to encompass the central and eventually northern portion of the state. Temperatures still very mild, 57 in Salt Lake. We've got 40s and 50s in eastern Utah. 40s and 50s for the I-15 corridor, 44 in Cedar, 52 in St. George. Salt Lake is warmer than St. George, and that gives you that indicator that, yep, something is up. And really, the storm has moved into the southern portion of the state and is heading our way. Here's what to expect along the Wasatch Front, forewarning you that by 8 p.m. in Salt Lake County, we could start to see a few sprinkles, maybe a few sprinkles out there this afternoon, but not a tremendous amount of wet weather. That will change as we head into the overnight. Forewarned Futurecast walks you through those changes. Here we are by 7 p.m. and you see that swath of moisture for northern Utah on the eastern side of the state, from Castle Country to Grand County and down south, where it's going to be active in Washington County towards King County, including Kanab, and then into Iron County. Moving up the I-15 corridor as we head into the overnight, we will see mountain snow towards Grand Staircase, Boulder Mountain, SR 143, 153, also going to see some snow-covered roads, and we stay active. Valley rain, mountain snow heading into our Friday because our snow level still hanging out at around 7,000 feet. Active for the close of the work week, we get soggy conditions, periods of precipitation expected with rain showers along the Wasatch Front for our Friday, and central Utah getting a nice wet wallop. Also the case in eastern Utah from the basin down to the Four Corners. Heading into Saturday, cooler air starts to take over, and that's when we see the chance of maybe filtering in some mixed precipitation or some snow showers. Won't be as much moisture left over Saturday, but the potential is there for a little bit of snow. Speaking of snow, our mountains under alerts, including winter weather advisories for the Wasatch Mountains, Central Mountains, and then that winter storm warning in pink that also now includes the La Salles and the Abajos. We're talking accumulating snow. The live cameras at Bryan Head telling the story, expecting 1 to 2 feet for the areas in pink. We will see accumulating snow for winter weather advisories as well. Winter travel expected for the northern mountains. Here's a look at those totals: 8 to 16 for the central mountains, northern mountains at 5 to 10. Now, it is going to be a range. Some areas will be on the lower range of that, especially depending on elevation. Cottonwood's highest peaks could go 10 to 18. What about our valleys? Well, Bryce and the Sevier Valley, they are also underneath that winter storm warning. We have mountain valleys at a trace to 3. Our benches could see a trace to 2 inches, depending on when we see that moisture switch. And our valleys will likely be exclusively rain, but with cold enough air by Saturday, maybe an inch. Travel impacts, expecting road slush and snow where you're seeing in red does include Boulder Mountain, SR 143 in the south, so you've got to be careful on those roads. Here are the snow levels. They continue to drop and will hit the valley floor by Saturday. High benches could see mixed precipitation by tomorrow night. Really depends on how cool the air moves in and how cool it gets and how quickly it happens. As we look at the precipitation forecast over the next 3 days coming from the Weather Service, you can tell we're going to get anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to up to an inch. Love to see 3/4 in Salt Lake. This is good moisture and it's much needed. And we don't settle down. We get a brief break over the weekend, but our precipitation potential remains high heading into next week. Okay, it's an active pattern. We were quiet for the last several days. Temperatures easing tomorrow with 40s expected along the Wasatch Front. We're going to keep dropping in temperature until we get to average. 40s expected in St. George with soggy conditions to close out your work week. Here's a look at the St. George 7-day where you see rain for your Friday and isolated showers Saturday. A breather on Sunday, but rain potential into next week. Here's the Wasatch Front, which also gets a breather on Sunday. Active skies with a chance from isolated to scattered showers as we roll into next week, staying unsettled. Okay, we didn't love high pressure and the haze and the bad air, so here we go. Little something different, and it's interesting. Okay, stay on top of the forecast by downloading that ABC4 weather app. It's really easy to do. Grab your phone, take a picture of the QR code that you just saw pop up on the screen here. It takes you to the App Store. You can download our app for free, and then you're forewarned with the weather when you're on the go.